Good day and welcome to our channel. Thank you for joining us today for part 11 of our comprehensive series on understanding and managing psychological phenomena. In this installment, we will delve deeply into the fundamental causes of panic attacks and examine how our brain interprets and reacts to these episodes. Often, we mistakenly assume that a panic attack occurs without a discernible reason simply because the trigger is not immediately visible. However, this very assumption can lead our brain to misinterpret these episodes as symptoms of an underlying illness. In today's session, we will explore the hidden factors contributing to panic attacks and discuss the chain questioning technique, a method designed to uncover the underlying causes of our emotional responses. By identifying and linking our experiences to specific causes, we can begin to reshape our perceptions and more effectively manage anxiety and fear. Our goal is to provide you with new insights and practical strategies to maintain emotional balance and improve overall well-being. Let us now delve into the subject matter and uncover the underlying dynamics of these psychological processes. The most basic mistake made during panic attack episodes is assuming that the attack occurs for no reason simply because there isn't an obvious, visible cause. In doing so, we cause our brain to attribute the attack to an illness. In reality, there is always a reason, and that reason is often outside the realm of our awareness. Our inability to perceive it does not mean that no reason exists. Just because we don't see the planet Neptune doesn't mean it isn't there. Therefore, when undergoing a psychological process, it is crucial to link it to a cause. I am sad because I separated from my spouse. I cannot forget because not enough time has passed. I am crying because I have a reason. My attacks came because I have been conditioned. I was scared because I fear. That's how I was programmed. I cannot leave the house because I am using trouble as an excuse. The brain does not perceive situations that are linked to a cause as dangerous, nor does it associate them with illness. Consequently, it does not trigger the defense system, nor does it escalate or maintain anxiety and fear. Even the simple detail is enough to completely dispel your panic attack. It is imperative that we make every effort to connect our psychological experiences and processes to a cause. Focusing solely on the outcome is misleading. When an event is tied to a cause, its nature and impact on you change. I have already provided an example of this. Another very important recommendation to prevent conditioning and its possible psychological consequences from the very beginning, or even to quickly bring an end to the psychological process we are experiencing, is to employ a chain of questioning. Someone told me I was bipolar, but am I truly bipolar? With what test was I given this diagnosis? Is the psychology I experience really bipolar? Does feeling bad mean I am truly bad? Does feeling bad equate to being a bad person? Is a change in my psychology the same as being bad? I say I've fallen into depression. Is it truly depression, or is it a human process of sorrow and grief? How did I distinguish between the two? Did I fall into the Mariana Trench of the Great Ocean? And if I did, can I get out? Moreover, is it absolutely necessary for me to get out immediately? Why do I panic as if there were a disaster, forcing me to escape immediately? Why do I suppress my brain and defense system? Why do I confine my mind as if it were stuck in a single shoe? Can't I live like this for a while? In the past, when psychiatry didn't exist, did people's depression last their entire lives? There are millions of people around the world who spend their days at home without psychiatric help. Do they crawl around in perpetual despair? Is it always necessary to fight in order to break free? Can fighting sometimes fuel the process? Isn't ignoring it also a solution? As the late Suleiman Demirel once said, if we don't turn issues into major problems, will they even exist? I say, I don't want to live. But must I always be desperate to live? Can life not be experienced even when the desire to live is absent? Does everyone live this life with great enthusiasm? Did I attend school for years simply because I wanted to go every morning? What harm would it do if, for a while, I lived without the drive or emotional motivation? Must there always be a motivation? I say, I felt like I was going crazy. I say, I felt alienated. Can the human soul not experience a variety of emotions? Does the feeling of going crazy mean that I am actually losing my mind? Does the feeling of alienation mean that I am truly isolated? Why do I load so much meaning onto my feelings? Why am I so sensitive to my emotions? Why do I constantly dwell on my inner world? Why do I involve myself in matters that are not my responsibility? Why do I live inside myself and my mind when there is an entire world outside? Is my fundamental problem my feelings, or is it my tendency to live within the confines of my mind and soul? In summary, when experiencing a process, it is extremely important to immediately link it to a cause and to continuously question it using a chain of inquiries. Conditional thought bombardment. Programming and triggering with conditional sentences. Not only are certain substances triggers, but some concepts and behaviors serve as triggers as well. It is not only physical substances, concepts and behaviors also affect the mind. Research has shown that the proper selection of concepts can even lessen the intensity of certain emotions, including what is termed as depression. We can easily grasp this idea by considering examples such as preferring to say update instead of inflation or term difference instead of interest. If some concepts reduce the intensity of an emotional state, others should be able to increase it. Saying, I am having depressive days does not yield the same result as saying, I have fallen into depression, or my psychology has changed versus my psychology has deteriorated. The observation I have long maintained, concepts shape perception and perception forms psychology, appears to be supported by research findings. The word, oh dear, serves as a warning of danger. When someone suddenly exclaims, oh dear, you immediately experience a surge of panic, startle, and fear. The same principle applies to certain behaviors. If a person walking on the street suddenly begins to run, the brain interprets this as a danger signal because no one starts running abruptly without reason. Such behavior is typically reserved for dangerous situations. Since past conditioning has programmed the brain this way, it will naturally interpret the observed behavior accordingly. In particular, conditional interrogative sentences that begin with what if, using the Turkish ya and end with the suffixes esi or sa, increase anxiety because they serve as anxiety triggers. These types of questions not only provoke anxiety, but also gradually establish an anxious baseline. In our society, these thought patterns that generate anxiety are very common, which is why almost everyone develops an anxious foundation. An anxious baseline predisposes individuals to obsession, panic attacks, a short temper, being easily offended, quick anger, and the tendency to hold grudges. Since childhood, we have been bombarded like a torrential downpour with sentences and thoughts that trigger anxiety, create an anxious baseline, and foster sensitivity, thus predisposing us to experience psychological processes. Consider the following examples. What if I can't make it to school? What if the teacher gets mad at me? What if I fail the exam? What if I repeat a grade? What if I get home late? What if my father gets angry with me? What if my mother scolds me? What if I can't pass the exam? What if I don't get a job? What if I can't enter the workforce? What if I can't get married? What if I can't make ends meet? What if my spouse cheats on me? What if my mother-in-law misunderstands me? What if my sister-in-law gets upset? What if my uncle hears about it? What if the whole world has something to say? What if I commit a sin? What if God doesn't forgive me? What if he burns me in hell? What if? What if? What if? Such anxiety-triggering, conditional thoughts are more than the brain or soul can bear. For instance, saying, what if I can't make it to school? Implies to our brain that not making it to school is a major problem, which naturally leads to anxiety. Similarly, saying, what if the teacher gets mad at me, frames the situation in an avoidant manner, implicitly suggesting that the teacher getting angry is a terrible outcome, thereby triggering anxiety through association. Notice that all these thoughts involve a form of avoidance, and the brain interprets avoidant situations as dangerous. Every sentence or thought that begins with what if and concludes with an avoidance marker carries this implication. The brain treats avoidance as a sign of danger. Thank you for joining us today. We've reached the end of our video, and I hope you found our discussion both insightful and empowering. Today, we examined how questioning the underlying causes of panic attacks and employing the chain questioning technique can profoundly influence our brain's responses. We explored the idea that every emotion has a hidden reason, and by diligently uncovering these underlying factors, we can significantly improve our ability to manage anxieties and fears. Throughout this session, we discussed the intricate interplay between our thoughts and feelings, and how a deeper understanding of this connection allows us to break free from automatic, often unhelpful patterns. By challenging and reframing our thought processes, we open the door to a more balanced emotional state and foster resilience against anxiety. Remember, it is not just the emotions we experience, but the causes behind them that truly shape our mental well-being. Taking the time to analyze and understand these triggers is a crucial step towards achieving lasting emotional balance and overall health. If you found this video helpful, please consider liking, commenting with your thoughts or questions, and subscribing to our channel. Your support encourages us to continue creating content that can make a difference in our community's mental health journey. Once again, thank you for being with us today. We look forward to exploring more insightful topics with you in our next installment. Until then, take care and stay well. We've reached the end of part 11. See you in part 12.